Newsflash, we're all gonna die, so why don't you just decide to enjoy the ride and laugh with the air like you care, but you don't, and you're broke and you love it anyway.
Good Grief is a podcast that hopes to relieve those who grieve, where it's all about life and death, but isn't all life or death. A conversation where art and heart collide. So sit, stand, drive, or lie down under covers to laugh and cry. This podcast picks up after the fall, after death, and before life, and choosing to live again. To examine what aspect of them is in you. If we're to suppose there are 7 stages of grief, or I believe the 8th stage is taking the stage itself. There's always grief, but now we can teach. Each week we will heal from someone who has lost a parent taken before their time, yet has somehow found a way back to themselves. After acceptance comes hope, a return to the dope. Next comes pomegranates and cantaloupes, a fruity phase of fruitcakes, hell raisins, and dates, making it back to your bed, frolicking the single life perpetually unwed, after which we set sail on another life raft, when we remember to laugh. Something like that. Today, we are joined by Omar Holman, former student of Hackensack, New Jersey, co-host of Verbal Mayhem, slam-winning, gets us all grinning creator, co-creator of Black Nerd Problems. If we were to take a pop throat culture of this man, he'd be coming up positive for all things comical in society, showing signs of mononucleosis of the Skywalker variety. A confident as hell stage presence, yet comfortably awkward grand champion of nerdliness, who still manages to be the coolest of dudes. He may be out of strep, but never out of step with what's on the tube. As I mentioned, former host of Verbal Mayhem, please welcome Omar Holman. Hi.
That was like the most in-depth intro I think I've ever done.
It was a little in-depth. Right.
Oh, he got the high school in there too. I was like, oh man. Yes.
Well, if I were to tell the people that I knew you since high school,
yeah,
what would that mean?
Since you, Toney Jackson's Skeptic came in to what it was 2000 and either 1 or 2, I assume. It might have been my sophomore, my junior year, and I was in high school. I got the name Ion because Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, had gained all the willpower in the universe, and the willpower of the universe took on the embodiment of this giant, it looked this whale-like creature. It was named Ion, and I liked it because of that. My girlfriend at the time, Yalitza, was like, well, if you think about it, you're kind of like Ion, because you, no matter what, you're gaining positive, what did she say? She used the analogy of either you're either gaining or losing an electron, or an energy source. And your energy-wise, you either gain it or you lose it, but you always stay the same, like the way you are. And I was like, your way sounds better. We'll go with that. I was like, your reasoning for the name sounds a lot better. So that became
right.
Yeah.
I wanted to build up off of that. In a way, losing or gaining an electron. Can you tell me a little bit about when you did lose an electron in your life, that energy source, and how that might have affected you? I know this ties into one of the poems that you have, Anatomy of a Prayer. Tell me a little bit about your loss of electron.
Okay. And that came after. That was funny because I lost my stage name there because I started going by my actual name when that started happening. So irony there. That's a great segue. I wrote that poem, Anatomy of a Prayer, with my mom. She told us she had cancer. It was around 2000. She was diagnosed in 2006. She didn't tell us until 2007. I didn't find this out till after she had passed, and I was going through her medical records. I was like, she always does this. So it came back in 2000, 10, 11? Yeah, 2011, something like that. So I wrote that poem for her in 2009. 2010, and she liked it a lot, and she's like, oh, like you almost made me cry, because we always saw her as like this fighter, right? Like she was always like I'm not crying, by the way, I'm just like sniffling out of nowhere for no reason. I don't know what's happening, but we always saw like this like this prize fighter, and then she had beaten this cancer and whatnot, but then it came back. I was like, fuck, man. And so but you can beat it again, you'll do it, you'll just do it again, it's fine. And so after she passed, it was like, fuck. And things changed in my writing and in me with my sister. I didn't realize till my sister told me, like, you just didn't have the same, like, your passion for slam or your hunger for poetry. Your writing shifted when mom was gone. And I was still doing that poem after she had passed. But then I realized, like, it had the same ending, like, oh, I believe everything will be okay. No, like, this ending is not, I'm not the same from when I first wrote it, and the outcome has now changed as well. So I had to change the ending, which everyone like knew the poem. Like, oh, okay, we're hearing this poem again. Then the ending was changed, like, oh, like, so then it suddenly goes, it suddenly says, like, 10, whatever the words, and then the ending comes and it's like, it's been so long, Mom, since I've said your name out loud, which was true, because I after she passed, I hadn't said her name. I hadn't said her name out loud. I would say Mom, but I haven't said Mom. I was just referring to her as her. And there was a night where I was laying in bed in Newark. I was living with Ian, and it felt like, I swear to God, it felt like somebody was like sitting beside me and just like petting my hair. And I felt like I was back home, back when I was back in college. I was living after college as well, back in Lodi. And it just felt like she was sitting there like petting my hair. And I was in this weird state where like I couldn't like open my eyes, but it just felt like her. And I remember I finally wake up and like open my eyes, like, Mom, like, are you in here? I was just like, oh God, it's not her, and that's what made me change in the poem as well. So I was like, it was that experience that made me switch the ending to like, it's been so long since I've said your name out loud, and thought to myself that everything would be okay. Because like now it feels like, well, no, everything's not okay now because my mom's gone. And that was the fun parent, damn it. You left me, you know what I mean? Like, you left me my dad. Damn. And so that was like the big,
right.
The big like.
So I'm interested in hearing of how it's affected, both your poetry, how it's affected relationships, of course. Poetry, we'll start with it first. Mm-hmm. Have you written about her since?
Oh God, yeah. She appears in my work like Diddy, yo. She, even when I was because after I stopped slamming in 2014. It's like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'll perform or whatever. I'm slamming. We're done. I did what I wanted. The Urbana Slam team had gotten on final stage after it's been like 12, maybe 14 years since they had even appeared on final stage. That's what I wanted all the way back since 2010. That's all I wanted. And it's like, oh, you get what you want now. So what's next? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll write now. I was doing like essays. I'm writing for the site, and I keep writing about my mom's death. It just kept appearing, man. Mm-hmm. She's like literally, like, she's Diddy in the background, like, yeah, I'm in this one too. Get me in the camera shot. So that happened, which was the whole reason, to skip back back a little bit. The whole reason I even competed again for slamming was because I came home after the 2011 finals, and I come up the stairs, and Mom was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "What do you mean what happened?" She's like, "I know the difference in your attitude when you come home. When you win, you're not loud, but like you come in like, and you can't wait to tell me. You come in like with the energy that you can't wait to tell me. You just come in like shoot upstairs. When you lose, you come in like a church mouse. You're quiet. You're very quiet when you come in. Yeah, that's that
intuition.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, nah. I mean, I made the team, but I didn't get this. I didn't get the Grand Slam. I went overtime, so I didn't get the face off for it. And she goes, good that you made the team, but I just wanted one more. And then she like does a signal like for like what wrestlers do, like the signify the championship belt around the waist. She did that, and that just like, it didn't haunt me, but I was like, always, that was the reason I went back to slam in 2014. Like, all right, let me see if I can just win one more, go one more time for her. Yeah. I was like, I didn't win the title. Then I didn't make the teams because someone had to drop off. And that was like a shot at my pride a little bit. But then it was like, well, you're how many times have you done this? You've been to this rodeo before, so maybe you should be more of a teammate or a team role, make be more of a supportive teammate this time around. So I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Is there an aspect of your mom's personality that you bring on stage with you?
And
what would that be?
My mom's like, she was like the sweetest like Christian woman until like you upset her. So like, and it was just that it would just switch that fast. It would switch that fast. Right. He's like, I'm trying to do right, but you're just fucking with me right now. And so I guess that it's a bit of a showman. It's like you think we're going right, here's a hard left right now. So that's what I get from my mom, able to like, we'll segue or transition into something completely different, or like we're having fun being silly and funny right now. Bam, here comes a hard turn, and and it's serious. But watch how easily we can go right back into comedy. Like that is my gift I got from her, and I like to do that because usually in a poem or whatever, when you're starting out funny and then you switch and it hits you with like the hard serious topic, like, oh, then everybody just stays with that. It never goes back to the humor. What I've always been able to do is switch back and forth. Nicole Homer is actually better at me than that. I hate her for it. She has a poem where she switches back and forth, and she describes it like being a magician.
Right.
And that's the perfect analogy for it. And I'm not as good as her at it, but I did that as well. Like it will not just stay on like the sad note. I will watch me weave humor into it, and people will always be like, oh man, I was crying at first and I'm laughing while I'm crying. I'm like, yeah, welcome to my life. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Just like a good
classical music piece could do that too.
Yeah,
yeah. Triumphant at times and then quite quiet.
Exactly. It's a crescendo. It's a roller coaster ride.
But then the audiences, you want them to come with you, and if you're there, they will. But sometimes people will linger. And that's where we have trigger warnings, where people will leave the room if they're unable to kind of actually deal with it at the time. Wow. So is there an aspect that you have of your mother that you wrestle with?
Oh yeah. I don't know when to ask for help, I guess. I mean, I have no problem asking, but sometimes I'll try to do a lot on my own as well. I think I get that because she will not, unless it would take a lot to get her to like admit that she'll need help with something. That's probably, I get that probably from her. I'm like, no, I can do this. But like, well, it's kind of a bit much, Omar, and you're gonna burn yourself out. Ha ha ha, whatever. Then I burn myself out, but I'm like, no, I can still keep going. That's probably, I get that from her. I'm like, well, I know I can get this done right, and and also it's not even like I don't trust anyone else to do it. It's like I don't want to burden anyone else with this. Let me see if I can do this to the best of my ability, or let me, like, I just want to help. Let me help out the best way that I can. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like that. That's to that degree. That's how I get that from her.
So in that vein, when it initially happened, was there pathways to help that you sought out, or you had some coping mechanisms already in line that you were able to kind of just continue along with those?
Man. Oh yeah, when it happened, I was trying to think. I remember I called. There was no coping mechanism. There was no. I was still making jokes and shit. My sister, she was in Singapore at the time, so she came over. My brother was in Arizona at the time, so he had to fly over too. And there was no coping mechanism, man. It was like I can laugh about shit, I can joke about shit, but like when that like. Everything.
Right.
Everything
you're grieving.
changed.
All emotions are colliding almost.
I was in her room. I was just crying. My friend Elvis actually came up, and it didn't make it worse. But I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, damn it, she watched this grow up, and this is how it ends. This is how it ends." But then I can tell you, like, after when it happened, it was like you guys got punched in the face, and I'm like, I can hear the 10 count, but like. I'm reaching for the ropes and I don't know where they are. But like, all right, well, let me try. I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna try and stand from the ground up. What I was trying to push up off the ground and stand. I can tell you afterwards, you become, for me, it changed me in a sense where I, not more apathetic, but it's like, oh, you, emotional wise, it was I couldn't recognize emotion for. I still have trouble with it. Like, oh, you're like, are you crying because of what I said here? Are you? Like, did I affect you this way? It became harder to like, I can read people, but then it became like when emotions get involved, it's like, I don't know what's happening right now because like I felt like a part of me that her being gone has affected that emotional connecting part of me. And it was like, I'm like, I can't, it's a blank. I don't, like, I see that you're sad. I'm going to pat you on the head. Hopefully that makes you feel better. I'll hug you because I hear that's what humans do. But yeah, it made me weird that way. And I'm not apathetic, but it's just like, I see you're upset. Well, I'm going to keep making jokes either to make you happy or maybe I'll just awkwardly try to hug you. But like, it's hard to like, it takes more to like affect me now. I mean, something that like I guess that's traumatic for me losing her.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
So you at times, are unsure of how to kind of comfort somebody else going through something. But what do you find comforts you during those moments?
If I said nothing, is that too bleak?
I
mean, what comforts me, man? Remember, it might be. Wow, we come from a rough breed, man. We, my sister and brother and I, we, our thing was, all right, I'm not with each other. We joke about it. We joke about that. That's what it is. We poke light of it or whatever. we make light of it because, all right, it makes death that much smaller. It's not this huge, big, intangible thing we can't understand. If we can compartmentalize it and make it the smaller thing, like every so often, Travis will be like, he was doing helium.
Helium balloons.
Yeah, helium balloons with his family. And they're all saying like these funny things. And it's funny voice, only up high. And then he was like, he does it. He goes, I miss my mom. And they start laughing. They're like, oh, damn, that's so sad. And
that's the true humor. Of just releasing the tension, but blending of the two.
Exactly. And that's what we do. And like my friend was like, my girlfriend, Tasha, she was like, I miss my mom. I was like, oh, you miss your mom? You miss your very much alive mom? We'll do that. Well, like we do like these little like, it helps, I guess, in a sense, like, oh yeah, we've lost her, but like it grounds us a little bit more. So we joke in that sense with each other. And with my brother's wife, she lost her mom recently, and then she made her first joke about it. Like months later, she made her first joke about it. We were like, she's one of us, yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's how we power through. You know, that's so.
So yeah, I mean, so I really wanted to talk about this with you. So like. When I lost my mom, I was pretty young, 15, and this was in like a school environment where the your mama jokes were quite prevalent. Oh man! And one of my early poems was all about your mama jokes and how those made me feel. And then instead of kind of like, just like cowering, I would retort back with a equally morbid or aggressive response. And at the time, I realized that was cool, but then also. It ended up making the person feel a little bit more awkward. Yeah. But now, in at least in the school environment, so like as adults now, I have to be aware that some people are a little bit more sensitive to being able to joke about it or not. But I feel with you, you're on that level. Yeah. So I like to usually do this at the end of the thing. So I want to just go back and forth with you with just some of your mamas. But these don't have to be funny. Okay. Or they can be. Okay. But just about your mama, you fill in the blanks for me. Kind of like, my mama was so.
Got you. Okay.
My mama was so.
Beautiful. She had men coming up to me at the funeral of her brother just to tell him how beautiful she was.
My mama's hair was so.
Lovely. It felt like a cotton, silk, Egyptian sheet.
Yes, my mama's cooking was so
better than anyone else's. God damn it, she was the Intercontinental Championship of cooking. What do you want? French cuisine, Indian cuisine, Chinese cuisine. She's got it all for you. Southern cuisine, she did it too.
My mama's face was so
proportionate. She had the most beautiful face. It should be in the MoMA Museum, the Museum of Modern Art. I tell you, God damn it.
My mama's beautiful. Mind was so
gorgeous. She was like a freaking scientist when it came to cooking yet again, because cooking is a chemistry. She's really good at it. God damn it. It's beautiful. I miss it so much. I'm hungry right now.
My mama's life was so.
It was actually pretty average. It was pretty average. She had a kid. She had a bunch of kids like that. Like that. She lived a normal life and everything like that. She was an accountant billing. It's a pretty average life. For a rock star, God damn it. She was a goddamn rock star.
Awesome. Is there a physical manifestation of your mother currently, metaphoric or otherwise, that you look at and you're like, that's mom?
My nephew.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. He has my sister's face, but he also has my mom's face. And he's the way he wants to do things on his own. He's like he's really smart, and like the way he's the way he's trying to learn to be funny, but he's so like cerebral and psychological with how he's trying to be funny. He was getting picked on in school because he's short, so I was telling him like, all right, if you're gonna do this, here's how you attack someone mentally. Like, but keep in mind you're a young kid, so no one's really gonna punch you in the face. But just realize you might get punched in the face for doing this. I don't want you to do this. Just go around doing this to people. This is your best bet as not fighting someone, but getting them to back off you because like you're just being witty. All right? I'm like, do you understand this? He goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, this is how you break it down. And I was like, you take them apart by the way they look, their appearances, their size, anything like that. Again, when you get older, like, I'm explaining to him as you get older, you can't really do this, but like as you're a kid, you can do it now. But keep in mind, you might make someone feel bad. Whatever. He's like, okay. He's like, he gets it. And then he starts joking on me. He's like, oh, yeah, that's why your mom had 2 divorces. I'm like, first of all, all right. first of all, that hurts. Secondly, she's your grandmother, So, like, he can't wait to, like, join in on, like, the riffing and, like, making jokes and stuff now. But he reminds me of her. So, like, the way he looks and sometimes the way he acts. Just likes to, like, just be alone sometimes. Or, like, he has, like, a little... his long hair looks like mom's too. He looks like John Lennon when he had like the long hair going. It's really weird. It's really strange. But yeah, he's like the closest thing to him.
Embodiment. Is there something in nature or something more figurative that you also attach to your mom?
Trees. She like, oh my god, man. She used to be like, why don't you write more about nature and trees and shit? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's just funny because Danette Smith has a huge poem about trees. I'm like, I guess she was trying to get me to corner the market, man. I missed out. Her favorite, one of her favorite singers, which is so random, was John Denver from Colorado. She fucked with
Denver
John
fan.
Denver. Like he's the poet laureate of Colorado. I'm like, why do you even know this? Like, and he always wrote about nature and like forests and trees and shit. I'm like,
wow,
that was her. That was her fucking dude.
Viggo Mortensen, he likes the nature. Yeah. So I know your dad more of a man of science. Mom, faith-based, somewhat. Tell me a time. I definitely wrestle with the two. Mm-hmm. Is there a time where faith or belief has shown its face since the death?
Mike put this to me this way. He's like, I bet you talk more like, not to sound blasphemous or anything. Like mom, your mother is your God now. Like I bet that's like who you talk to more often than not. Like when you're like talking to someone. I'm like, yeah, you're right actually. Because sometimes like I'll walk, I'll like hit my knee on. I'll do a joke to Tasha or whatever, and I'll turn around, and I like hit my knee on my elbow on like a wall. I'm like, really? And when I look up, I'm like, really? That's not like, I realize that's not towards God, it's toward mom. So it's like, oh, maybe she like, it's just so instinctual to do that. Or like I'll just be walking down the street with her, or walking down the street with her. I was walking down the street, and I was like, I really hope this like works out. And it's more like I don't, because I already said I don't really pray or anything like, but I do like. It's to her. I will be like, can this happen? Is this possible? Like, am I doing the right thing? Whatever. And it's more toward her. And that's not to say like, I don't believe in like anything like a greater. But I'm sure there is. But there are certain times, man. Like, it's just hard to explain like when the bad things happen because people die. Yeah, people die. You know. But the thing that I always struggle with is I can accept if it's right or if it's just. Like I might not agree with it, but like it was the right thing, or like. Might not have been the right thing, but it was the just thing. You know what I mean? And when I saw her death, and it was to me it wasn't right and it wasn't just. So that was like my biggest that's damn it, like, you know, someone that leads their life so right and correct and always never hurt anyone. You know, maybe cussed out a few people, whatever. But you never hurt anyone or anything like that. Like was followed to the T, and then you get this, like that doesn't, and you're something you already beat, and you get it again. Like what the fuck? That doesn't, you know what I mean? Like how is that right? How is that just? So that was always my biggest, like my fucking, I cannot, sure. I cannot cope with that.
So was there something that caused, I mean, from the point of her passing, mm-hmm. That put you in a more positive space afterwards? What did it catalyze for you in your life in any respect? If anything?
And not, I guess maybe in a sense that like, well, I always knew nothing lasts forever, but like anything, I don't think to me it's solidified that I don't like to say that everything happens for a reason. I think everything, it's from the Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. Neil Patrick Harris' character tells her, she's like, oh, why everything happens? He goes, don't say for a reason. She goes, oh, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say everything just happens. And I think it put that into my head. Well, everything just happens. And she always told me too, like, you can't, like, what are you gonna live in fear of? So that's always, I hate not knowing what if. So when her death passing, it just solidified, like, well, things will just happen. So you gotta just take the risk. You can't really worry about will it work out for you in the end? Well, I became more of like a risk taker in a sense. Like I'll go for that. If I can secure a net here, fine. If I can't, fuck it. I will go for it each and every time. So I became more solidified in that. Whereas maybe I was 60-40 before. Now I'm 150. Like I will, you know what I mean?
Diving in. More courageous
I will jump for it. I will do it. Even if like I will have to fucking wing it or whatever. Like I'll do it. I'll try my best.
So the reason I kind of asked that is I'd like to think, or maybe you disagree, that you are in a better place, you know, emotionally, financially, overall, where you are right now. Mm-hmm. Is there something that you could say to yourself at 24 when this happened, or other people that are that age at the time of that happening, somewhat similar to you, of what they could do in the moment, or what you know now that would have even helped you.
What would I say back to me then? I was, I think the only thing I could say would be like, you'd be amazed at what happens when you're on the other side of it. That's the only thing I could, like, you'd be surprised at who you become after this, you know, like, just if you can, because I mean, that was dark shit. I didn't really like, well, like, because like I'm trying to find a nice way to phrase this, but there's no subtle way to say it. Like, you know, I didn't really, like, because I'm like, well, what am I still here for? Like, you know, because like why am I still here? Even like my life seemed like less like, well, fuck it, I don't really, because I was with her every single day, and like your partner's gone now, so what the fuck am I still here for? And it's almost in a way like Survivor's Guilt, because I wasn't there when she had passed, and I was coming back from an interview that she told me to go to. So I'm like, well, what the fuck am I still doing here? Like, you know, that thought had crossed my mind as well. But like, you know, if you're able to survive, you know, they want you to survive that. It's an honor to be able to bury your parent, because they never want to be the one to bury you. So it's a weird, like, it's a weird right that you get to have. No one wants, it's a club no one wants to really be a part of, but you are a part of it. You will be. Hopefully it plays out that you are the one to bury your parent. So my advice to me, or to anyone going through with them, would be like, you'd be surprised at how strong you are. You'd be surprised at the person you are after that, after you step through that door years later, and you look back like, oh, okay, my skill tree has become, like, you know, I've become a well-rounded person now. Like, so, like, you know, you don't want to cut yourself short of that journey. Like, you know, you'd be surprised at who you are when you look back from the journey, like 5 years later, 10 years later.
Right. Thank you. So if you were to add a stage of grief, a stage of good grief, what would that stage be right now, of where you're at in that whole process, that could potentially give hope to some others, that could shed some humor, shed some light on those going through something like that now?
I've always thought, I've actually been writing it as the stages of grief like a video game. Acceptance is like the final stage, right? I think depression is the one before acceptance. I think I'm at the point in the video game where the final boss is blinking red, and all it takes is one more hit to just you know, to end the game, to end it off. And so I'm just like, and I just keep backing up and like just saying like, okay, I'm just biding my time for when I'm ready to say, all right, like this is it, and put it down once and for all, like out of its misery. So I'm just like, the final boss is blinking and acceptance is right there, and I'm just still waiting to like the right time to throw the punch.
Right. So I guess we'll close if there was something you could say to your mom.
Oh man!
At the end of this,
Scott.
At the end of this, in the phrase of "Hey, mom, you were so."
I was doing so fine. I was doing so
fine. Hey now.
All right. And my voice is steady. They can't tell that I'm tearing up.
I mean, I know you have so many conversations, and this is maybe something that you're gonna say that there are people listening when you're saying it.
Okay. What I would say now is, hey, Mom, your grandson is just like you, and he reminds me of you every day. And he reminds me of how much we all love you and how much we all miss you. But I'm still funnier than you were. That's what I would tell him.
Right on. Well, I think we're gonna close there. Unless you want to, you anything else you want to add?
No, man, you got me like tearing up now, man. Damn.
I was gonna just end it right there, but
close.
But
we're so
close. But this is it, man. The many emotions of from the light to the dark, the silly to the serious. You have a lot of fighting metaphors within. I know your mom, quite the fighter, all throughout. I want to thank you for sharing,
no problem.
for being on here. Another brother without a mother, sitting across from me, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me, man. It was
Yes. All right.
That was incredible. That was good.